everybody, and welcome back to The Process. In this video, I'm going to be talking about what I look for in my portraiture work. I'm going to start off by saying I still have a long way to go in my portrait work until I am truly satisfied with the type of photos that I'm taking. That's mostly because when I take portraits, I'm looking for something very specific in my work. I'm looking for raw and honest moments from the person who's sitting for me. And these very brief moments are really hard to find. They're hard to pull out of my subject at times, and there's a vulnerability to it, so I have to work harder to kind of get these photos. And as is right now, I'm still figuring out how best to go about getting said moments. I think one of the things that makes it tricky is that I live in Los Angeles, and people out here have a certain way they want to be perceived by audiences. They have brands or they have ideas of their type, and they want to be photographed in that way, as opposed to what I'm looking for is a photo that captures who they are and captures a moment of pure honesty where they're not putting on a facade for the camera. I'll still shoot what they want as far as how they want to be seen, but during the session I am looking for a photo that I will like, which is a photo that shows me perhaps downtime, a moment of pure honesty, of unguardedness, of truth, I guess, is what it comes down to. I'm looking for a moment of truth. And that is what I value most in portraiture work, especially when I'm looking at other photographers' portraiture work. I'm looking to see moments of character, of the subject clearly having a thought on their mind, and I feel like I am sharing in that moment with them. So yeah, that's what I look for in my portrait work. The ways in which I go about trying to unmask and disarm my subject is to talk to them, to establish a connection while I'm shooting them. I often do this through laughter. I've been told I'm pretty funny. I have jokes, not stand-up jokes, but I am pretty quick. Some would say I do pretty well with the banter. If I find a subject that's also kind of quick and likes to go back and forth, I typically have better shoots. On the other side, if I can build a connection with my subject, if we find a common area of interest, we can have some pretty good deep conversations while I'm shooting them, and that's fine for me. I understand and I accept that I have to reveal a bit of myself to get them to reveal a bit of themselves to me and for the camera, and that is ultimately what I look for when I'm shooting people. When I first started shooting people, I was just shooting whoever, whenever, because I needed the experience, and I was thrilled to have people want to be in front of my camera. So I was like, I will shoot whoever is looking to get their photo shot, and I will shoot it in whatever way they want me to take their photo. And that got old quickly because I became unhappy and disinterested in the type of photos that I was taking. They were not speaking to me. I hated some photos, and I stopped shooting portraits for a while, and I became just kind of, I don't know, like, this isn't my thing, I don't want to do it anymore. And then slowly but surely, when I started to capture people again, I decided, you know what, I'm shooting these portraits, they're my portraits. When you see these portraits, you will know that it's a Talya portrait, so I'm not going to sacrifice what I like, my artistry, to kind of bend or mold myself into the ideal photographer that this subject's looking for, because there are hundreds of thousands of photographers in this world, and if you want somebody to shoot you with flash photography outside on a balcony, you can go find that, but that's not me. So I had to come to terms with that, how I like to shoot people and what I'm looking for, and I had to say, I'm only going to shoot people the way I want to shoot people. And if someone contacts me, they're contacting me because they like the way I capture people. And that's the ideal situation for me, and I think it's the ideal situation for most photographers, to not have to bend so much to the will of other people. In the videos that I've posted so far of me working with subjects and models, you'll see or you'll hear me talking to the model throughout the entire shoot. And it doesn't matter what I'm really talking to them about. I'm just trying to get them comfortable with me, comfortable with their surroundings, and comfortable most importantly with themselves, because a lot of times, even though they're models, they may or may not be as confident in what they look like or their body, or they may be second guessing themselves, and I don't want people in their head when they're in front of the camera. They need to be comfortable. And that's what I'm aiming for. I'm aiming for them to kind of get to a place where they feel engaged and they feel a bit at ease with working with the camera and working with me. And I feel like I get better results when that's the case. Now, I'm not saying my style appeals to all subjects or all models. I'm not saying I'm an expert on it at all. I just know that I have goals in my portrait work, and I'm going to work until I reach said goals. And it may not be for everybody, and I'm okay with that, because that's the beauty of this life. You get to make choices. I'm not saying I'm an expert. I'm not saying that my way is the only way or the best way to go about your portrait work. I'm just sharing what I'm looking for in my portrait work and how I'm going about trying to capture these moments in my photography. If you need money, get money. I get it. I'm not in a position where I am a full-time photographer where I depend on my photography work to sustain myself as a human being. My stakes aren't as high. If you are someone who only does photography and this is how you eat, this is how you pay your bills, then by all means, do what you need to do. But I encourage you to set goals for yourself in your own portraiture work and go towards those things and not compromise in order to fit someone else's idea of who you are as a photographer. Let me know what you guys think of this topic. What do you look for in your portraiture work? Definitely disagree with what I just said here. You don't have to bash me, but engage. Let me know what you think. If you disagree, cool, we can talk about it. Make sure you like this video if you made it this far, because clearly I've engaged you enough to make it this far. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And I will see you next week for another video. Peace.